Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Good afternoon, Ms. Faravarian is our faculty and Mr. Kevin Harada is our examiner. We are from Group 7 consisting of Fahad, Ahmad, Boenjamin, Gabriella, Sara, Soedibyo, and Gilang Prasetya. We will present our project with the title Database Design and Implementation at the Cafe. The data management service in the cafe is using manual methods. Therefore, this method is not suitable for use in the event of data loss. Then project database design and implementation at the cafe is a solution of the problem. This project has been created so that the cafe service data can be managed properly. In this project, our group create the implementation on database cafe in the form of an entity relationship diagram or ERD, database design, schematic design, table design, validation, perform, and configuration. Entity relationship diagram. This is our ERD. Database design. Database name is cafe. Number of schema is 1 data. Number of tables is 6. And the first is order. Second is customer. Third is cashier. Fourth barista. Fifth menu. And sixth payment. This is our database design.
This is the table design. The first one, we got order table. We got for the column section is ID order for the primary key. And then the type is car and width is 5. Description is ID for each order. And the column, the second one is ID menu. And the data type is jar and the width is 5. Description is ID for each menu. And the third one is quantity, and the data type is integer, and the width is unknown, and the description is quantity for each menu order. For the column is the fourth one is ID cashier, and the data type is char, with the width is 5, and the description is ID for each cashier. And this fifth one is ID barista, and the data type is char, and the width is 5, and the description is ID for each barista. And the sixth one is ID customer, and the data type is jar, and the width is 5, and the description is ID for each customer. And the last one is customer name. For the data type is varchar, and the width is 50, and the description is customer name. Next. And then there is the second one is customer table. For the column, we got ID customer as for the primary key, and the data type is car, and the width is 5, and the description is ID for each customer. And then the next one is customer name. For the data type, we got char, and the width is 50, and the description is customer name. And the last one is gender. For the data type is char, and the width is 6, and the description is gender of customer. And then we go the third one, we got cashier table. For the column, we got ID cashier for the primary key, and then data type is char, and the width is 5, and the description is ID for each cashier. And the second one is cashier name. We got the data type is char, and the width is 50, and the description is cashier name. For the last one is gender. We got data type char, and the width is 6. For the description is gender of cashier. Next. And then the fourth one is barista table. The first one is ID barista for the primary key, and then data type is char, and then width is 5. For the description is ID for each barista, and the second one is barista name. We got the data type is varchar, and the width is 50, and for the description is barista name. And the last one is gender. The data type is char and width is 6. Description is gender of barista. And then we got menu table. For the menu table is ID menu for primary key, and then data type is char and the width is 5. And then the description is ID for each menu. And the second one, we got menu type. For the data type is varchar and the width is 50. And for the description is menu type. The column is menu name. The third one is menu name. And then for the data type is varchar, and then the width is 50. And the description is menu name. And the fourth one is top with the data type integer, and the width is unknown, and the description is top. And the last one is price, data type money, and the width is unknown. The description is the amount of money. Next. And then we got payment table. For the primary key, we got ID underscore payment, and the data type is char, and the width is 5. And the description is ID for each payment. And then the second one, we got ID order. And the data type is char with the width is 5. Description ID for each order. And the third one, we got ID cashier. And the data type is char and the width is 5. For the description is ID for each cashier. And column number 4 is ID customer, and the data type is char, width is 5, and for the description is ID for each customer. And for the fifth one is price, and the data type is money, with the width is unknown, and the description is the amount of money. And then the next one is transaction date, with the data type date, and the width is still unknown, and then description is date of transaction. And the last one is payment method, with the data type varchar and the width 5, and the last one is description, the way in which an amount of money is paid.
And this is the validation performed. The first one, we have order table. We have validation required and methods used for validation. The first one is ID order, must unique. And the methods used for validation are primary key, check constraint, not null. The second one is ID menu, must unique. Methods used for validation are foreign key, check constraint, not null. And the third one is validation required. And the third one is ID cashier, must unique. And the methods used for validation are foreign key, check constraint, not null. ID barista, must unique. And the methods used for validation are foreign key, check constraint, not null. The fifth one is ID customer, must unique. And the methods used for validation are foreign key, check constraint, not null. And the last one are customer name and quantity. Methods used for validation is not null. Next. The second one, we have a customer table, and the validation required are ID customer, must unique, customer name, and the gender. Methods used for validation are primary key, check constraint, not null. Also customer name, not null. Gender, check constraint, not null. The third one is cashier table. We have ID cashier, must unique. Methods used for validation are primary key, check constraint, not null. And the second one is customer name. Methods used for validation, not null. Third one is gender. Methods used for validation, check constraint, not null. Next, barista table. We have validation required, ID barista, must unique, and the methods used for validation are primary key, check constraint, and not null. Second one is barista name. Methods used for validation is not null. Third one is gender. Methods used for validation are check constraint and not null. Next is menu table. We have ID menu, must unique, and the methods used for validation are primary key, check constraint, and not null. And the last one is menu name, menu type, and the price. Methods used for validation are not now. The last one is payment table. We have validation required, ID payment must unique. Methods used for validation are primary key, check constraint, not null. The second one is ID order must unique. We have methods used for validation are foreign key, check constraint, not null. The third one is ID cashier must unique. Methods used for validation are foreign key, check constraint, not null. The fourth one is ID customer must unique. Methods used for validation, foreign key, check constraint, not null. And the last one, we have price, transaction date, and the payment method. And methods used for validation is not null.
And then we insert it into cafe data menu table. And here are the value. And then execute it. And then we execute the select from. And then there we go. We got the table. And then for the next one is barista table. And then we execute it. 3-row affected. Then select it from barista table. Execute it. And then we got the barista over here. And then the next one, we got cashier table. Execute it. 2-row affected. Then select it and then execute it. We got cashier name over here. Put the gender also. And then the next one, we got customer table. Execute it. 6-row affected. Then execute the select from cafe data customer table. There we go. We got 6 customer name. Then we execute the cafe data order table. 5-row affected. And then select it from the cafe data order table. Then there we go. We got order table. Then we gonna execute the data payment table. 4-row affected. And then select from data payment table. Then execute it. We got the payment table. Then there is all from us for the SQL. Thank you.
That's all from group 7. Thank you for your attention. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.